Well, the latest is Boris Johnson came. He didn't make any huge Boris Johnson bojo-like gaffes, and he left as well. The question is, has he left the UK with better relations with the EU, able to make more diplomatic progress to sorting out the impasse surrounding the backstop or not? And that answer has to be no. The fact is, Boris Johnson came. He made some pretty robust comments about the money that he wouldn't be paying. He made some pretty robust comments about who would be to blame for this, who would be seen as Mr. No-Deal Brexit. Of course, you'll remember those barbs about Donald Tusk, who then came back at him and said, yes, you perhaps, Mr. Johnson, would be seen as Mr. No-Deal Brexit. And then he left as well. In fact, one might argue that things are marginally worse because, of course, the veiled threat of the British not paying the £39 billion divorce bill, which was agreed within the withdrawal agreement, that's left a little bit of a sour taste potentially with some Europeans. Mr. Johnson was seen to have a good conference in many ways. The actual meeting with Donald Tusk went pretty well. It was seen as quite cordial. And the meetings with Donald Trump, of course, yielded comments that actually in a post-Brexit world, after those 65 days, a great deal could be had between the US and the UK once the anchor around the ankle of the UK was taken away. But Boris Johnson, in his final press communique, his press conference here as well, was not underlining the fact that things have gone really well. He was underlining the fact that actually disagreements remain. Let's listen in.
It will be difficult. There's a substantial disagreement, but my job is to make our case, and you know what our case is. That the backstop is anti-democratic. It keeps the UK locked in the EU's customs arrangement. It keeps us locked in the legal order of the EU without any ability to influence those things. It's got to come out. It's got to change. I've made that point very, very clearly to our friends. I really think that point has now landed. So let's see where we get.
Very interesting, actually, looking at all the different commentaries about this meeting as well. Some were saying, actually, it was just descended into a spiral of spin. I think that was the Politico line as well. But the FT made a very interesting point, and actually that Boris Johnson managed to act in a very traditional British diplomatic way of bridging the gap between the United States and European continental leaders as well. And actually, the fact that Donald Trump and Boris Johnson got on so well, and they had a very forthright way of speaking. Apparently that went down pretty well amongst the other leaders as well. So perhaps there's a little bit of a green shoot there. But the problem is, of course, as soon as Boris Johnson starts getting on with Mr. Trump, there are those at home, including Jeremy Corbyn, who accuse him of cozying up to the US president as well. And Jeremy Corbyn today is speaking to the leaders of the other parties in Parliament in the United Kingdom to work out ways to avoid a no-deal Brexit, possibly with a no-confidence vote in early September, and possibly with Jeremy Corbyn himself becoming a caretaker Prime Minister. But we'll leave that one dangling for the moment.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.